So this week on the Be the CEO of Your Life and Business podcast, we are talking about something that I just can't seem to talk about very freely, and you'll understand why. And it's because we are just not programmed to accept praise very easily and receive compliments or accomplishments with ease. And this week has been really tough for me because I've had to explain that I was the recipient of my local Rockland County Bar Association's Stearns Award. And it's an award that's given out annually to a member of the Bar Association who has exhibited service above self. And that's really the tagline for the award. And so, in speaking to colleagues and in speaking to just friends, and they're asking me, oh, are you going to be at this on Thursday night? Are you going to be doing this? And I'm like, no, I'm actually going to a dinner and I'm the recipient of an award. And then they start asking and saying congratulations and getting all excited for me. And my natural instinct is to like curl in and be like, okay, I gotta go. Like, get at it. Like, I'm done. Bye. And I knew that we would be posting about it on our social media, and now talking about it this week on the podcast. And I just feel like it's such an uncomfortable thing. And it's something that, it's so tough to really be proud of yourself, which is really sad when you think about it and you say it out loud, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we should be proud of the things that we do. We should be happy because I mean truly, like, it's the practice of saying your accomplishments, and then you see the feedback that people are so excited for you. You should be really proud of it because other people are really proud of you. But we tend to not be so proud of ourselves or stop that and take the time to really acknowledge like the things that we have accomplished. And so this week we wanted to talk about that uncomfortability and maybe encourage people to start getting a little bit more comfortable with praising themselves and being proud of their accomplishments, and perhaps trying to learn how to accept compliments a little bit easier.
So I could not have been more proud of you last night receiving this award. I had the honor of introducing her.
It's amazing.
And it was just, first of all, it was such a fun night. Like, it's so nice to be back out in person, seeing people. And this dinner, I always have fun at. Like, I just like seeing everybody. It was at a beautiful venue, right on the Hudson River. So the whole thing was just so nice. Amy's family was there. Like, it was just so nice. But this was an award that Amy was so deserving of. And so I wanted her to talk today about what it was like to have to sit down and write a speech, in accepting an award that you're receiving that somebody else nominated you for. Like, what was that like, having to accept that? Because it's hard.
It was so weird. So I think the hardest part about this was, I actually had to write a bio up to put in the souvenir journal that's given out. And I sat there with the most immense writer's block because I was like, what am I supposed to say about myself? I don't even want to talk about myself. I just want to talk about other people. It's so much easier to talk about other people and to kind of like just reflect in that way. So it was really hard for me to sit down and have to figure out what I was going to say about myself, to kind of introduce myself and introduce what I do, what my accomplishments are, what my involvement is with the Bar Association. And then to also have to sit down and think about remarks. Again, I really didn't want to make it about myself, but I knew I had to because it's an award.
I mean, you were the one receiving the award.
Right. And so it's just hard for me to, I guess, initially, it's something I'm working on, but like, it's hard for me to initially be like, hey, you're doing a great job, or hey, you did something that really was impactful. And, this conversation has kind of been swirling around and circling around us lately. And it is the idea of like my impact and what I'm doing. It's impacting the people that I'm directly serving. So the committees that I'm directly serving. but it also has a ripple effect. And that's what I talked about in my speech last night, is has a ripple effect to impact other people, whether it inspires people to get more involved or it inspires another young female attorney to look at the two of us and be like, ooh, they're doing it. Okay, I could do this too. Or it inspires our kids to look up at us and be like, wow, my moms work really hard. Our moms work really hard to try and, prove that us women can do whatever the heck we put our minds to, and we can achieve so much and we can accomplish so much and be awarded and recognized for it. And that ripple effect is the part that I have to remind myself of. And it makes it a little easier to talk about it, because as we can continue to share our contributions and our impacts, people can see like, wow, this really can reach really far. And it's a good thing to be doing these things.
It can be so hard to be proud of yourself, right?
Yeah.
And just accept the praise. And even when, I mean, I wasn't receiving an award, but I had to go up there and introduce you. And when
Yeah.
I went up and the president of the Bar Association was introducing me and introducing our firm, and what did he refer to us as? Like a powerhouse female firm.
Yeah.
And I wanted to crawl into a ball. I was like, this is so like
I
I'm
know.
not good at receiving compliments. I'm up here in front of like 150 people,
Yeah.
and he was said like the nicest things, and things that, like, if that were another firm, I would be like, that's amazing, you're doing such a great job. But because it was about us, I was like, that's so nice of you. Like, it was just, it
Yeah.
feels so, why does it feel so weird?
Could be because we tend to negate ourselves. We tend to put ourselves on the end of the list. I love that exercise. You ever hear of the exercise where you are asked to write down a list of the people that you love the most?
No.
And you write down this big list, right? So if I asked you, who are the people that you love the most? Name top 5, and I probably know who they are, but go ahead, name the top 5.
Mike,
Okay.
Matthew, Chris, Kaylee, and my parents. I have 6.
But where are you on the list?
I'm not on there.
See? And
Ooh.
it's a powerful recognition of like, why don't you think of yourself in a way that you should love yourself and be proud of yourself first?
Where did you hear that?
I think I heard it from Mel Robbins.
Oh, well, of
Of
course.
course. This is years ago. Years ago. And I always thought that this was the coolest thing. And I always would be like, whenever I heard this exercise, or whenever you would do like personality tests or anything like that, and they would say like, oh, what are your favorite things? Or, oh, what are your favorite attributes and how difficult it is? And it's almost like helping you shift your mindset to putting yourself first and realizing that you need to fill this person and you need to love the person that you are and be proud of the person that you are so that you can continue to do the best that you can do. And I really wonder if that would work for people. If they started to pour into themselves more and be happier with themselves more, they might actually create an output that is better and more successful and more, positive and impactful.
And shouldn't we
Pretty
be
cool.
setting that example for our kids
I mean,
too?
totally. Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
I love that exercise. And I've never thought about it like that before.
Right?
That is really good, because we tend not to be on our own list,
I
right?
know.
It's like that with name the top 5 people you love the most. Your to-do list. Is there anything about you on your to-do list?
Right.
Probably not, you know?
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's hard to think about yourself that way.
Yeah.
And so I was just curious what it felt like to get up there last night in front of all of those people and accept this award that you were being presented with.
So I'll add another level of like this dynamic. Okay. We're attorneys, and the only praise that we get really at the end of the day is if we get a favorable decision, then we see like granted or denied, whatever it is that we're applying for, right? Or we get the award and the judgment, or we get the case dismissed. Like that is the universe that our business life operates in. And I don't know about you, like my kids telling me that they love me is so great, and it's like so rewarding. But most of my days are just dumpster fires, just like chasing after the kids and cleaning up the mess, right? And there's not a lot of praise that you might hear necessarily. So, but going back to like your business, so we work in this universe where, yeah, our colleagues are going to be supportive of us when they see us win, but it's almost like that silent support when you were in law school and your professor was using the Socratic method on somebody and called on them, and you were silently like sitting in your seat, like rooting for that person, like, get it right. Don't be embarrassed in front of the whole group, like do it. And it's all in silence. Like nobody's cheering at the end of it, saying that you did a great job. But last night it was so cool because after my remarks, I had people coming up to me, like our colleagues, saying like, that was so insightful. That felt so uplifting. I was so happy that you shared it. You have such good karma about you. You have like such a great energy. I'm so glad you shared that experience. And like, wow, your family, they've done so much, because I did, quite an homage to them and their impact on me. So it just felt really nice to hear that, like those separate discussions. And then again, it's reaffirming to me like, oh, okay. Again, I'm glad I shared, and I'm glad that I, gave the perspective I did, because it impacts other people and it makes other people appreciate what you're doing.
And you know what? The other thing I thought was so nice is that I felt like there were a lot of compliments given to a lot of people last night. Does that make sense? Like when our president stood up there and he was introducing people, and he was even saying nice things about the people that were introducing the people that were getting the awards.
Yes.
And I felt like it was so much more positive than it normally is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It was very uplifting. It was so nice to sit and I mean, it took a while, but he literally said something nice about everybody, every judge that was there, and
Yeah.
something personal about every judge that was there, every award recipient. Like, it was so nice that he recognized so many different things about so many different people. It was actually amazing.
Yeah. You know what? You're right though, because some of these dinners can feel so sterile, right? Like you
Yeah.
go, you have the program of events, bing, bang, boom, let's get through everything. And it's like, okay, that was a great exercise. And last night, you're right. I mean, it did take a little long to introduce everybody,
It
because there were a
did.
lot of people in that room last night.
Yeah.
Um, but every single comment that he made was very positive, and it was funny. Like that was probably the most laughter we have ever heard at a dinner
Yes.
like that.
Right?
Um, Even the presentations too. Some of the speakers, I mean, we had the presiding justice of the second department there, and he was funny. He was, I have long R's because I'm from Long Island, so
Yeah.
just get used to it. And we were very much, it's nice because it's like that human side of things. We see each other in a very sterile environment where like you are the judge on the bench and we are the attorneys. And it's nice where everybody kind of just like lays their guard down a bit, and just we are human people with smiling faces and laughter. And we had a great table. We had a great group of people. Like it all turned out to be just a really enjoyable evening.
It really was so much fun. And, but I think that it is so important to recognize when you've done something amazing.
Hmm.
Like, you were so deserving of this award, and, accept it and recognize that, like, it was the things that you've done for the association, for other people, members of the bar, all the different committees you serve on, all these different things that resulted in you being nominated for this award,
Right.
because that shows the impact that you're having on other people, which is
Yeah.
really what it comes down to. Like,
Yeah.
it's a real impact on other people. And that's why I liked that you had a little bit of a focus on that in your speech last night, which I
Yeah.
thought was really good. And I thought that it was good because it was like the perfect like balance. Like, you were accepting the award, thankful that you were getting it, but also recognizing the effect that your actions have on the community at large. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's exactly what I wanted to do because I I really have found, look, this profession is not the easiest, okay? It could be really
Nope.
stressful, it could be negative, it could be very positive, but I will tell you, like from where we sit, most days, unless it's like a closing transaction that's complete, it doesn't always have a positive silver lining to it.
No.
And my takeaway from being involved in seeking community, which by the way, at our human core, all that people want is to feel like they belong to a community. And that was part of the message that I was trying to get across, is that like I was finding joy in this legal profession, not just by doing the work that I do day to day that, earns income for our firm. I'm doing work day to day that's impacting my fellow colleagues and the communities that we serve. And it brings me joy. And yes, it might take away some of my time, but that exchange, so I said like volunteerism is reciprocal. You're going to give your volunteering time to something, but then in return, you're getting some good benefit, some sense of satisfaction or some sense of achievement. It's going to make you feel good. And isn't that all what we want in the first place, is to just feel good and be happy? So that was why I pushed that topic of like, get out there and do things that you like. Don't just like sign up to like run a marathon if you hate to run. Like that's not what I'm
Right.
suggesting, but doing something that like leaning into your passions, finding what really lights you up and what makes you excited, and do those things because they're going to make you happy. And happy people are happy people.
So what do you say to somebody who says, I don't have time for all that stuff? Because you're literally one of the busiest people I know.
You know what I say to those people, Katina? It's a funny question. Everybody has time to do everything.
Right?
Every time that you say yes to something, you say no to something. If you say no to something, you're saying yes to something else. It's a zero sum game here. You have time. It's a finite resource. It does not keep reproducing itself. So it's up to you to make the decision of how you want to use that time. And this ties in really nicely to what we talked about on last week's episode or the week before that, where we talked about dealing with negative energies and dealing with things that you just don't like, that don't make you happy. And you can, if you need to do them, there's ways and tips and tricks that we can help you try and like strategize and figure out how to make the process or the situation a little bit better for you. But if it also isn't serving you anymore, you don't have to keep doing it. And
Right.
that's okay too. So like if it's something that's not bringing you joy and it's depleting your energy, then go find something else to do that makes you really happy. It's
Oh my God.
okay.
This is the topic of Growth Day this month. The
Oh,
whole month.
really?
This is what each coach is talking about: when to quit something that's no longer serving you.
Mm.
Interesting. It's such a great topic. It's totally not what we're talking about today, but just an aside, because when you were saying that, I was like, oh my God, that's exactly what they're talking about this month. When to quit something that's not serving you anymore. Right?
Yeah, and I think to just tie that into the topic that we have right now, I think it's easier, although it's still hard, it's easier for me to be proud of these accomplishments because I also really do like them at the end of the day.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
it's not just like winning a case that's been really difficult and perhaps the client's been difficult and it's just been like a drag and you finally get to the finish line and you're almost like, phew, that's done. This is more like, oh, great. I'm so happy that we're here. I'm so happy and I'm excited to see where we can go next. And that's really like the committee work that I get involved in and I'm, really passionate about. It is for that really, because it's always evolving and it's expanding and we're always improving. And that's, just what makes me really happy. So it's easy to be proud of that too. So I guess that's a choice too that I had to make. I find the things that I'm really excited and passionate about, then that means that I'll be maybe happier and prouder of the accomplishments.
Yeah. Although I know it's hard to, recognize your accomplishments and be proud of them, you really should be. Because you were so deserving of this award. It was an amazing
Thanks.
night. Amy's family was there. It was just so fun. And so you should be really proud of everything that you've accomplished. And, the work you put in on these committees is unbelievable. I said, what did I say to you yesterday? I can't keep track of all the things you're doing on
Yeah.
a daily basis.
You're like, I'm pretty sure that as your business partner, I should know what you're doing every day, but I can't keep track. And I was
I
like,
can't
neither
keep
can
track.
I.
I
So
can't
we're on
keep
the same
track.
boat.
Right. But in general, like, take time to be proud of your accomplishments, because I feel like we're so busy focusing on what we didn't get done today and
Mhm.
what we haven't gotten done this week and what's left on our to-do list and all these things. But if you sit down and think about it, there are things that you have accomplished that you should be proud of.
Agreed.
And last night's award was certainly one of them. So it was an amazing evening. So I thought this was a great topic to talk about today, because oftentimes we don't take the time to recognize our accomplishments. So we thank everybody for spending time with us today, and we'll talk to you on the next episode.